Well, this is the first of two sessions about AI skills, and this is AI skills where to start. So we have Ivan Mihov, who's the Chief Revenue Officer of Boltzbit. We've got Rachel Pazbilski at Sigma Financial. Sorry, if I got that wrong. And Pavid Patel, who stepped in at the last minute because someone else dropped out, so I appreciate that, Pav, who is founder of Outerop. Over to you.
All right, thank you. And it's been great so far. I mean, I've learned a lot personally. I always love listening to people's stories and their journeys of how they got where they are. So obviously, we're going to touch a little bit more on AI skills and where to start, but I think we also will touch on, again, our journeys and who we are and how we got to be where we are. So if I just give you a quick intro to myself and ask the others to do the same. I'm Chief Product Officer at Sigma Financial AI. I've been there just over a year, and I am not a technologist by background. I did my A-levels, but I didn't go to university. You know, very sort of similar story to Adam. I was very much a business person, got into the world of trading after starting off as a junior accountant. I mean, I don't like maths. Don't ask me why I chose to do accountancy. I think it was just two fingers up at the system who told me I was really rubbish at maths, so I thought I'd give it a go. But on that journey, I learned how accounting works, how financial statements work. And, you know, right now, those are skills that I can use as a chief product officer and a director of a business. So from there, I went to the trading floor and I was kind of very much involved in product and the evolution of electronic trading and regulation. So whilst it can be quite dry and boring, I've made a very good career out of being an SME and regs and really being the conduit between the trading floor and the compliance teams and the product and technology teams. So, you know, I just love working with people, listening to people and making the outcome that everybody wants to get to. In my job now as a chief product officer, I do a lot of stakeholder management with our clients and internally. And again, I use all of the skills I've used in all of my other roles. I've worked in a fair few different types of firms. So stock exchange, broker, sell side. I've been kind of across the whole journey. So my main takeaway is that it doesn't really matter where you start or what firm you work for. You're going to learn skills that you can take to a different type of firm or a different role. And it's just take those opportunities. It is a jungle gym career. It's definitely not linear. So just, you know, go for it. Talk to as many people as you can and you'll figure it out. So that's me, but Ivan.
Thank you for the introduction. Ivan Mihov. I work for Boltzbit. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer, essentially head of sales and responsible for bringing in the revenue from clients acquisition. I haven't been a technical person for majority of my career. So I eventually became one, which was a result of my curiosity into the technology and how that works, and also competing with my 8 years younger brother who was doing his master's in UCL, and I didn't want to stay behind as the older brother. But that's another story. I moved to the UK back in 2007, Bulgarian originally. I moved here to study, not knowing what I wanted to study. I chose economics because that's essentially combining technical skills and also applicable context of those technical skills to really understand and model the world. And I've had various different jobs at uni, which is important to work while you're at uni, not only to be able to support yourself, but also to gain some practical experience in what you want to do in life. And the most interesting part of my career back at uni was not my internship in Credit Suisse, which I did so I can go and work in finance, but it was my job in a betting shop. Where I was working almost full-time, taking bets, calculating permutation, servicing clients. And this is what got me my job in Bloomberg and how I started my fintech career from there. Because during the interview, they were more interested about the complexity of what I've done in the betting shop and how I work under pressure and how I can talk to clients. Having worked at Bloomberg, obviously, that gave me quite a good foundation of the financial markets. And the interesting bit is, when Bloomberg hires, and that's, by the way, for many of the fintech companies, and as the lady from Google alluded to earlier, the degree and the level of expertise is not important because the big organizations will bring the level of everyone they hire to a certain standard. So I would say even people who didn't have degrees in finance and were the same graduate course at Bloomberg, at the end of the 2-month training course, we came out with the same knowledge of the financial markets. And you can also do CFA, and you can also do other certification that would bring up the level quite substantially. After that, I worked for a company called Market Access, which is one of the largest trading venues in the bond market. And I did that switch so I can gain different exposure to different type of customers. As I was covering banks back in my Bloomberg days, and I wanted to expand and start covering buy side because I believed back then that my network is my work. Meaning people will pay me more money if I bring some connections to the table. And this is how we hire people right now, especially on the business side, to achieve that sort of network multiplier effect. And from there, obviously, I worked for our Market Access. I worked for Axe Trading, which is a fixed income tech company that used to compete with Ion, and it's now part of Trading Technologies. So TTFI is the company I used to work for before that. And I decided to make a career switch from sales and move into product. I worked for TPI Cap and Liquidnet, where I applied the skills and the knowledge I have from the client's interaction after so many years into designing a product that makes sense because I understood the user journey. 2-3 years after that, I got to work with Boltzbit, which is an AI infrastructure company providing custom large language models for enterprises. And I was a customer of theirs. I like what we did in terms of implementing the models, and I decided, you know what, I can do a lot with that technology and my network. So throughout my career, I've probably interacted with over, last time I counted, 750 companies in the financial domain. And this is sort of the world of expertise and why I'm capable of doing the chief revenue officer role, because I know the people, I know the journeys, and understand what people need. From technical skills, I know we're going to talk about AI skills in fintech. Again, as I said, educated a little bit later on in the technical aspects of AI. I did my master's in data science last year. So it's never too late to start to acquire the technical skills academically if so needed. But work is the best place to learn those.
Brilliant, thanks.
Hey everyone, I'm Pav. I'm the CEO and co-founder of OuterUp. We are a product studio. One of our products called Big Team helps small businesses create a website with AI and has an AI team to help them with things like sales, marketing, finance, and so on. Currently at 8,000 users. But I've had a very non-linear career. I initially started at University of Nottingham studying economics, went to JP Morgan on a rotation program because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but wanted to make some money. Ended up doing some operations, some product management, and really fell in love with the digital product management side. I felt like a lot of what you see in finance is very intangible, just trading numbers on the screen. But digital products as a way in which you can understand what a user is going to click on, and it just felt way more engaging and involved. From that, I started to work in the fintech and digital strategy team. We were looking at fintech companies like iPushPull to work closely with and some invest in. And that journey took me to Hong Kong for a couple of years, which was super fun. But eventually got bored of the big corporate life. And I felt like I was on the wrong side of the fence, working with all these fun, fast-moving companies. And I'm in this big bureaucratic 250,000 machine. So I left to join a crypto exchange called Bitpanda. They're on their hyper-growth journey in around 2021. So it was about a couple of hundred employees, and 18 months later, it was 1,500. That was pretty insane. And we ended up taking a team of 30 people out of that just as FTX was crashing, if you know the crypto derivatives trading platform. And we created the first European crypto derivatives exchange, which is regulated, called One Trading. And there I was doing a COO role, head of product as well. And that was super fun. So I feel like my career journey is going to smaller and smaller companies to now like a team of 3. But I think after that experience, I felt like I learned enough of what to do at each kind of company stage. And I thought I could apply these skill sets to start my own company at the 0 to 1 stage. As I'm sure anyone who starts a company will find out, it's super different. And a lot of the skills, although transferable, are super new. So I never had to do, hands-on, hand-to-hand sales, marketing, accounting. But really, when you're a 1-person, 2-person team, these are all the things that you actually have to do from day one. But yeah, I think it's, as Ivan said, it's never too late to start learning things. Along my career journey, I've, picked up Python skills, which I used then to do loans for the market makers on the crypto exchange. Definitely not recommended. But yeah, I think your whole career is about just accumulating skill sets along the journey and then finding interesting ways in which you can apply it.
Brilliant. So I think let's get a little bit more into the details of AI. Some people here are obviously more technical than others, but AI seems to be of an interest to most of the audience. So maybe you can start by telling us about how the application of AI and different types of AI work in your firm, and then we can ask Ivan to do the same.
Yeah, sure. I mean, so we use ChatGPT all the time. I think it's every co-founder's co-pilot at this stage. In the actual product, we use a mix of models to generate code to build websites. We have AI assistants which can like generate images and answer questions and connect to things like Facebook ads to inform someone how they can improve their campaigns. I think I said this to the guys earlier, like graduates, I think, can be in the top like 0.1% of AI skills in any workforce they join, just because you have so much time to actually pick up these skills now. And you should just play with like the tools, try and build something small. And what I mean by that is like, let's say you want to get into like trading. There's nothing really stopping you for asking ChatGPT to like build you like a trading script and run some demo money on TradingView. You could even like ask it to do some like market research and create a pipeline to do like market research and apply that to trading. Or even if you're interested in like doing marketing, for example, you could use some of the tools like Lindy AI or Gumloop to just scrape, your competitors' ads or like ads for a makeup brand. But I think learning how to use these tools in detail and applying them to like kind of real world situations gives you just such an edge to applying for jobs and the skills which are super valuable that employers are looking for really actively.
Brilliant. Ivan?
I totally agree with you. I mean, the proliferation of the AI technology enables people to acquire skills so much faster than it's ever been possible before. If you remember the scene from The Matrix, for those who were born before 1999, where Keanu Reeves or Neo plugs himself into the Matrix and in 5 minutes he knows Kung Fu, right? Pretty much the same applies now, whereas it's not 5 minutes, probably 5 days, but it's still better than 5 years or 5 months. I will have to say, I mean, we use AI every day. We are an AI company. We do research in new transformer architectures. We use our models all day, but we also use ChatGPT. I mean, obviously the capabilities of the off-the-shelf large language models are pretty valuable, but you have to also be aware of the perils that come with over relying on AI. You still need to be critical. You still need to apply your own thinking. You still need to verify. Yeah, I mean, use it with caution. Use everything you can. And just dive into any skill set you can possibly get your hands on, you express interest in.
Yeah, great. And from my perspective, Sigma, like I said, I went there just over a year ago, and I didn't go there because I have any AI skills myself. But like other panelists before me, I understand what our clients actually want our systems to be able to do. And every day is a school day for me in terms of learning about what our data scientists do, and they make me feel stupid regularly, and they don't mean to. But I, try and put aside the fact that, it's great. I'm not scared of technology. I've worked with technologists for a long time, and it's just it's the newest form of the technology. Again, I came in when electronic trading started, and I've just always been like inspired by technology. So even if my role doesn't have to be learning the in-depth details of how to use the latest AI techniques, I have to understand like what the application of those are and how that's going to solve problems within my firm. So, I think that we can all say that we, just having, again, that curiosity and that interest in what the technology does. And if you are like obviously minded to be working on the AI techniques and you want to be cutting edge and you want to be at the front of that, there are so many opportunities out there at firms like mine. And I'm really excited to see what the younger generation is going to be bringing to my firm as we grow.
Yeah, I think like when we are hiring, all the CVs start looking really similar. You get like 50 to 100 applicants and everyone's gone to a good uni and whatever. But the things that I really care about is like, what side project did someone do? If I see that someone's done like something stupid, which might be like, oh, I took a photo of my fridge and now I get like, what recipes I can make, but I've done that as a product and I gave it to my friends. To me, that's actually like really interesting. Like they've shown like they can actually do something end to end. They are interested in using like the latest AI tech. And it is kind of useful. But there's so many like side projects on some which you'll do on the hackathon today. I would say you should spend like a lot of time just thinking about and like representing that properly in your job interviews.
Yeah, absolutely.
I totally agree. Just to add on that, when we hire people as well, I mean, sometimes in most occasions we're looking for senior researchers because in AI lab, but when we look at also juniors, we don't consider the definition of what's junior and what's senior is changing, I think. For us, a person who just came out of university can still be considered senior because, as you said, they've done a project, they work on the technology, they spend, 2, 3, 5 years in academia, but they have applicable skills. So what I'm urging the audience to do and think about is what type of applications can I essentially evidence to my future employer of my current knowledge and my future knowledge skills. So just apply. There's almost no excuse nowadays for someone to say, I don't know what this is, because you can go on ChatGPT and LI5, any topic, right? LI5, explain it like I'm 5, right? And you would instantly at least gain some level of understanding that will allow you to be conversant on the topic. To some degree, you can always dive deeper, but for 99% of the people that you're going to talk to, you're not going to go below a certain level anyways. So
yeah, I mean, I had an interesting conversation internally with our chief data scientist about the next role that he's trying to hire for. And there is always that conversation around what level of person he needs. We're a really small firm, so we can't just take on lots of people. So it's really finding the right balance of the skill set. And so it doesn't necessarily mean, do we need a more junior person or a more senior person? It's like, what's the skill set required and how is the best way for us to get that? How do we find those people? Because by the same token, you guys are looking for the roles, we're looking for the people, and it's not always the traditional models that we will use. Yes, we talk to recruiters, and if you've got a very specific, well-defined role description, they can go and find you the best person. But sometimes it's not that well-defined. And in a small company, you need that person to be able to do more than one thing. Like, we all wear multiple hats in our roles, and kind of going and getting on that rocket ship means you are willing to wear a few hats. And for us, it's like looking for that in a person, and you can really only do that by talking to them. So I think, like, all of you doing the right thing, being here today, finding ways to network. And I said to my chief data scientist, well, I'm going to this event, I'm speaking, I'm going to meet all of these people at the event. And so maybe I'll find the kind of people we're looking for there. So, just well done for being here, and looking forward to talking to you all later.
One important fact to consider: firms don't like paying fees to
yeah.
right? I mean, this is just an additional expense that if we can spare by talking directly to the candidates or connecting over LinkedIn, we'll do that.
Right. Okay. What are we talking about next? Okay. So we've touched a bit, I guess, on our sort of qualifications and skills, and really let's have a look at how we've used them in a bit more detail. So I mentioned earlier that I didn't go to university. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and so it occurred to me that I should just go out into the world and figure it out as I went. And I knew, again, coming back to the financial situation, university can be a luxury, right? For a lot of people, it's expensive. It's going to leave you with debt. Maybe that was a little easier in terms of the interest they charge on loans and stuff when I was younger, but I still thought, I don't want that to be my starting point. I just want to go out and work, and that's what I did. And then I've, as Ivan said, I've learned all the skills I've needed along the way. And if I need some new skills in this role, I'll go figure out how I can learn them. I've been considering whether I should do my CFA or something else. I'm obviously very busy working for a startup, so probably not something I have time for. But where there's a particular skill that I need to learn to do my job better, then that's what I'm going to do. And as I say, I just ask a lot of questions of my data scientists and say to them, I'm going to need you to show me how to do that, And I always think that if everyone in our organization is learning how to use AI, we build products and we sell those products using AI techniques. We also have to be eating our own dog food, as we say, and using those techniques for our everyday roles. So that's kind of where I've been sitting in my previous role. The company actually ran internal courses on data science 101, teaching everybody in the firm, giving everyone the chance to upskill. And that really kind of set a tone for me. So when I left there and came to Sigma, I was like, if you get into firms that are willing to do that and upskill their entire organization, take those opportunities where they come, because they're super valuable.
And most of the big companies have budgets for employees' education. Not a lot of people are aware, but that is the case. There was a famous quote. It's like, what if we invest in our people and they leave? It's like, well, what if you don't invest and they stay?
Yeah.
So take on those opportunities. And as Rachel said, the example she provided with education and the skills acquisition, I had a similar experience where I did my master's in data science, not because I needed it. I'm a sales guy. I mean, I can sell anything. I don't need the technical skills, but because I was curious. Eventually, the knowledge I acquired through that degree became quite valuable when I was transitioning into product and later into enterprise AI sales, because I can handle a conversation and talk to you about neural network designs and backpropagation and all of these sort of interesting core fundamental concepts of AI. not to a level of a researcher, but good enough for me to be able to close business. So you never know when a certain skill will be important in life. Therefore, you cannot predict what steps you need to take towards a certain career goal, because the only thing you have control over are the decisions you make today and tomorrow. So following the path of maximum interestingness and novelty factor is probably the most successful algorithm in designing or navigating your career and personal lives.
I think that I'm going to sound like a total boomer, but you guys have so many tools. So three things really at your advantage that we didn't have. The first is like YouTube. YouTube can literally teach you anything pretty well in like 5 hours. If you want to build an LLM from scratch, go watch Andre Karpathy. Right? If you want to learn how to vibe code, you can do that really easily too. The second is ChatGPT. It's just insane. And I think you shouldn't outsource your thinking to ChatGPT, but definitely use it as a tutor to upskill yourself in anything that you don't actually understand or you're super curious on. And the third thing that I definitely don't have now, I've got a 1-year-old, is time. So with these three things to your advantage, you can become really knowledgeable about almost anything that you're super curious on. I think I've been really stressing a good point here, which is just learn stuff that you're actually interested in. It's way easier to be motivated on stuff that you're actually just curious in, that you can start to make some, little products, little things, which also evidence to employers that you can build stuff. I think when a lot of employers are hiring at especially early stage startups, they look for two real skill sets. It's one, can you build stuff that's either your technical or you're still going to sit on the product side, and the third is can you sell stuff? And it's that's really sales and marketing. We hired a marketing intern. I wasn't looking at anyone who did a marketing degree. It doesn't matter to me. I was looking for people who had grown a channel, they've grown their personal TikTok or Instagram following to something decent. They could talk about why certain things worked. And one of them had actually run an agency on the side. Was at uni. That's the person we hired.
I mean, in the AI world, I think the standard traditional marketing playbook is not relevant at all. I mean, things are changing so fast when new industries are coming and taking over. So do the processes around how to market, how to sell, how to price. So the most critical skill, I would say, is to be super adaptable. And this is what the AI skills actually give you, to be able to learn on the fly and apply it on the fly. Just be malleable, be super adaptable, because we don't know what the world's going to look like in the next, 2-3 months, a year's time.
Yeah, I mean, I'd echo that. And I think, those kind of personal skills that people have touched on before us as well, you need to be useful. Find a way to be useful to the people around you, whether that's your boss or your teammates. And, you have to inquire into what that looks like. But I think if you go there and if you've got the curiosity, you're willing to ask questions and you want to be useful, you will find your way. Not everybody is the big ideas person. There's plenty of entrepreneurs and maybe some of you want to be that. But I always used to worry that am I good enough in any one area? I'm a bit generic. Maybe I've got too many skills and none of them are good enough. And now I'm the penny just dropped a year and a half ago when I changed role and I came here, and my boss asked me to come be his director in the business with him, because my skill set was broad, because I have taken all those opportunities to learn different things and make myself useful across all the organizations I've worked for. So never underestimate that. And if you don't know what you want to do, that's the key thing, is if we sit here and be just do what you're passionate about. Yeah, do what you're passionate about if you know what that is. I had no idea what I was passionate about. And so I just made myself useful and learn as much as I could until I found the thing that I went, oh yeah, that direction is interesting, right? And, you'll always have a chance to be exposed to different areas of the business that you're working in. And startups are great for that if you don't really know what you want to do, because you'll get a chance to try everything and people appreciate the effort you put in, because, we all work hard, and we know if we take on someone, we're I'm just going to throw a bunch of stuff at you. Just do your best, right? No one expects you to be perfect. But yeah, the people who employ you will be really, really appreciative of the effort levels that you put in. Okay. And that doesn't mean working 24 hours a day. That just means being super, super interested to learn and do the best that you can.
And most panelists touched on a very important point, which is common across what we're talking about here, is communication. And why communication is important. Maybe we've said that multiple times, but don't use AI to communicate for you. Don't use AI to write your emails or personal chats, because you're not going to acquire those skills. And the other advice is over communicate, right? Even in a working environment, in an academic environment, you have to realize that people don't have the same information you have in your head, and only because something is obvious, it's not obvious to everyone else. And learn how to communicate that in the most effective way. And the only way to achieve that is not to use AI to write your emails. So that's very important. I mean, to a certain extent, right? If it's a legal contract draft or something like that, yeah, that's different. But
I think Rachel touched on a really interesting point here, which is that you should just go and do things. There's a term which is called high agency, and if it's unfamiliar to you, I recommend all of you Google it and read about it. I think in retrospect, a lot of my career opportunities have happened because I haven't done exactly what was said on my job description. Yeah. I was looking, for ways in which we can improve the broader processes of businesses, stuff that's not really in my remit. I think when I was at the crypto exchange, I started off in head of strategy role. I soon took on like the operations, because I was like, okay, no one's actually doing this really well, and some of the product as well. Even at JP Morgan, I was like doing two jobs at the same time, just because I saw that our electronic sales desk needed support with like getting some metrics out. And it also is reflected in like the best people I've hired are people who, like this guy called Alex, we hired him on like the trading operations team. His job, right, was just to like process transactions going in and out of the exchange. But what he did in his spare time, because he had some computer science skills, was like every week he just showed me really interesting data on like what the business was performing, like what kind of like currencies were going in and out, and this helps us actually improve the business overall. So I think don't be limited by your job description. Just look for problems that are happening in the workplace that you can see, that you think you can solve. Don't really ask any questions to do it. Just be like, I'm going to look at this. Like, do you care, to your manager? And then they might be like, yeah, go do it, and then just give them a really good result. And I think that's the fastest way to, one, learn, and two, just get promoted and get more senior in any of these positions overall.
Great. Matt, how long do we have? 3 minutes, perfect. That time for questions. Then?
3 minutes, okay.
Did you want to say anything else?
30 minutes here.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy to take some questions, and we can talk about the specific AI skills and technicalities of it maybe over the coffee later. But
there's a hand up over there.
I can speak from a AI industry perspective. The biggest challenge is the hype on the market, which I don't think helps companies grow in a meaningful way. The AI hype is geared towards venture capital, not towards the users and consumers. All the stories you see on LinkedIn, and Christian alluded to those earlier, about ROIs and multipliers and revenues, like these are meaningless for any business. So the biggest challenge has been to sift through the noise and actually go and explain to people what AI can really do for them by, trying to eliminate the hype that is being created for the venture capital industry.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. It's kind of, as a product person trying to solve business problems using AI techniques, I have to try and manage where I think firms are going and why they would buy what we build, versus, my data scientist who wants to remain at the cutting edge of everything that AI can do, and trying to bring those two pieces together, because they could do R&D all day long and build me really cool things, but I have to, manage that product pipeline and say, what, this thing isn't going to be redundant tomorrow. It is if all you ever do is look at what the cutting edge is, but firms can't keep up with the cutting edge. They're trying to get on the journey somewhere. So our products are supporting them in getting on the train, right? Then once they're on the train, they can start to work out how they're going to take the next level, what is next. And, and that is then part of our role, is to say to them, okay, you've started, now how do we help you improve that? But they don't know what that cutting edge looks like. So whilst you guys might want to work in the cutting edge, also working with people in your organization who know the businesses they're trying to sell to is really important for you to understand like how that journey actually happens.
I'll do a more personal answer. Since I've got a 1-year-old whose birthday was 2 days ago, my personal biggest challenge was time management. I no longer have the luxury of working 16-hour days because I have a baby to take care of, and AI can't help me fully outsource my job yet. No. Well, definitely not look after the baby.
I don't know. Yeah, I've got a 10-year-old, so I've been doing that for a while. But last night he asked me, to figure out how he's going to vibe code a computer game. So I was like, okay, and mummy can't say no to this because apparently she works in AI. So I'm going to have to learn how to do that too.
Yeah, I think that there is a lot of hype in the industry. I think what it means for a lot of startups is that they actually have to put in like really high hours now to actually cut through, because everyone is moving super fast. Like code creation and code generation has like sped up people 2-3 times, but everyone has this like same underlying advantage, and so everyone is trying to find the edge in kind of using the different AI tool sets to speed them up. And actually some of the challenges like actually knowing where to spend the time to actually use different tools inside the business, which are going to help you, and testing stuff really fast and failing sometimes as well.
So maybe just to close with the last sentence, what I think about vibe coding is actually vape coding, and happy to talk to you about that and why I think this way.
Please come and talk to us afterwards.
Yeah, these guys are here all day. So round of applause. Thank you very much.